Well, it is 2 p.m. Time to get sporty, you and me, for the next 2 hours. A lot has been happening this particular weekend. We'll be getting in touch to discuss all about that. The whole Ferdinand Omanyala's visa issues. This particular morning he ran in Oregon, United States of America, and finished third. He proceeded to the semis. We'll be talking about that. Back home right here, some people are getting into hot soup about that particular issue. We'll also be talking about the last leg of the National Sevens circuit. We're talking about the Kakamega Sevens in the Bull Ring. It is going to be an amazing one. Really hoping to, even move all the way to, Kakamega tomorrow for some Ingoho and all that. And obviously, we'll be talking about some transfer rumors, international news and, Blues, the Chelsea, not interested in Cristiano Ronaldo anymore. And obviously, for our big interview today, we'll be talking about women in motorsport. I'll be having, she is the fastest superbike rider, woman superbike rider in East Africa as of 2019. I'm talking about Mina Reeve. We'll be having her on this particular set to discuss matters, women in motorsport. What does it really take to be on that particular, fast and that whole thrill of it. Anyway, we'll be having all that later on. My name is Stanley Nyaringita officially. Welcome to On the Spot. Remember social media handles at KUTV Kenya. That is on Facebook at KUTV_Kenya. On Twitter using the hashtag On the Spot. Let's start with the first bit of this particular show, where we give you the highlight of what has been happening this particular week. Right, officially welcome to KUTV On the Spot. Now, siblings Muqtadir Nimji and Khalika Nimji will fly the Kenyan flag in Birmingham during the Commonwealth Games. The team is under the tutelage of coach Prince Mukuka Jr., who is assisted by Gakuo Ndirangu. With just 12 days left to the Commonwealth Games, the dream of playing in Birmingham is now shaped to reality for siblings Muqtadir Nimji and Khalika Nimji, will be representing Kenya for the squash duty. Khalika has played at 3 Commonwealth Games, starting with the 2010 Commonwealth Games in New Delhi while 12 years old. She says the training has been intense since the beginning of the year. Her brother, on the other hand, has been sharpening his skills in Birmingham with the best in the game.
My brother Muqtadir, since he's playing already in Birmingham, he's playing with the world-class athletes, training with them every day. So I think his level has gone up quite a lot. For us here, we've also been playing with each other. I've had the opportunity to train with the men, so I think that's also upped my game quite a bit.
The team is under the tutelage of Zambian-born former Kenyan #1 squash player Prince Mukuka Jr. and Gakuo Ndirangu. Mukuka is optimistic of good performances and stresses that the players need exposure.
The difference that I see is that my players basically need to be exposed. That is the only way they can get to another level. During my time, we used to travel to so many countries, and we used to play so many tournaments within Kenya, not just at Parklands. We also used to go to Mombasa, Kisumu, and Nakuru as well.
The team will be wrapping things up at the training camp in Moi Sports Center, Kasarani, before flying to Birmingham for the Games, which will tip off on the 28th of July to the 8th of August 2022. Stanley Nyaringita, KUTV Sports. Right now, let's cross over to the United States of America. Africa's fastest man, Ferdinand Omanyala, heaved a sigh of relief after he finally jetted out to Oregon in the United States of America for the World Athletics Championships. The 26-year-old had previously faced visa delays, which forced him to travel on Thursday night. Particular update. Remember, he finished third in that particular race, in that particular heat, clocking 10.10 seconds. Obviously, so he actually arrived a few hours to that particular race, and he even conquered the whole jet lag to actually perform well. Now he, performed well, and he proceeded all the way to the semis. So he'll be performing in the semis tomorrow, 4 a.m. in the morning. We'll definitely, get to see how that particular performance will go.
First of all, I want to thank everybody who has worked around the clock to ensure I get my visa. I got my visa today from the US Embassy, and I want to thank them also. You see, there's nobody to blame here. I mean, it's the system, how it works. You cannot just force anything. It's out of control. But I want to thank the Minister of Sports, Madam Amina. She's been working, okay. People are talking out here, but they don't know what's behind the scenes. She's been working all around the clock. Last night, she was really working on this. And I want to also thank the President. The President.
And on to the game of kings. Nairobi County will play host to over 150 golfers during this weekend's 12th leg of the Safaricom Golf Tour, the Kenya Air Force Golf Club in Nairobi. The weekend's tournament will see over 100 golfers take part in Saturday's corporate event, while over 50 junior players will participate in Sunday's junior contest. The only 3 legs remaining, tour has so far attracted close to 6,000 golfers who have taken part in the various tournaments, junior clinics and outreach programs. Right, and that particular event is happening right now. The airport, Kenya Air Force Golf Club, basically. Make sure that you actually go there and, play some golf. Now to some basketball. Kenya's women's basketball team recorded their first win in the Under-23 3-on-3 Nations League at Nyayo Stadium after blowing Uganda 18-16 to keep hopes of clinching ticket to represent Kenya in the upcoming Under-23 World Cup finals alive.
Kenya Under-23 women basketball team had the last laugh, displaying dominant performance over their rivals Uganda after 2 unsuccessful attempts.
Leopanga ndo vile wamefanya, wamefollow up instructions. Uganda walituchapa mbili siku mbili za kwanza. Tukakuja, tukapanga na tumefurahia kwamba tumeshinda juu walicheza according to our plan.
Tumechange defense yetu. Yeah, because Monday, Tuesday tulikuwa tunacheza man on man, lakini leo tulikuwa tunacheza kwa zone. Ndio maana tumewin game.
Uganda had a brilliant start to the ongoing 3-on-3 Nations League tournament, recording 2 wins in their first 2 finals to pose as front runners in the race to clinch ticket to participate in the upcoming World Under-23 3-on-3 finals to be staged on November this year in Poland.
But tunachukua game by game. Kila game hakuna titu ni Uganda. Tukipata timu yoyote kwanza tunapanga nayo. So pia matarajio yetu kesho ni kwamba kesho tunaweza endelea na hii run, na tukipata ushindi itakuwa sawa sana, juu tutakuwa 2-2.
Tumechange defense yetu. Yeah, because Monday, Tuesday tulikuwa tunacheza man on man, lakini leo tulikuwa tunacheza kwa zone. Ndio maana tumewin game.
On the other hand, their males counterparts had a bad day in court after falling to today's champions Rwanda in the semi-finals of Day 3 Nations League. However, the Toby Ochieng charge dismantled Uganda in the extra time to settle for 3rd place.
After falling short of expectations, the Honours is now on Kenya under-23 men's team to make amends in the remaining fixtures. Auma Evans for KUTV at Nyayo Stadium, Nairobi.
Right, thank you for that, Auma Evans. Now to some sad news. Former Sofapaka midfielder Wisdom Naya is dead. Naya has been battling sarcoma cancer for long and had his leg amputated after undergoing treatment in India earlier this year. The 18-year-old played for St. Anthony's Boys and was signed by Sofapaka in 2019 after being spotted in the Coca-Cola Under-17 in 2018. He has, however, never featured in any competitive game for Batoto wa Mungu. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Some sad news right there. Now, football, Kenya Federation Premier League giants Gor Mahia have signed a 3-year sponsorship deal worth 229.5 million Kenyan shillings with betting firm Bet Afrique. The sponsorship deal puts on paper this week will see Gor Mahia receive 76.5 million Kenyan shillings per year, which includes 5 million for kitting and also 1.5 million for players' insurance.
Speaking for myself and also for the committee, we are indeed grateful to Bet Afrique. The contract reads PesaBet, but PesaBet, I believe, is the owner of Bet Afrique. And as I have said, the details of the contract sometimes are matters that are very, very confidential, but we have given some information to the press that they should be able to give to the public.
Right now to some other sad news, unfortunately. Kenya and the entire rugby fraternity is mourning following the death of former Kenya Cup champions Momba Rugby Club team manageress Stephanie Rose Otieno, who died on Monday morning after a fatal road accident. Otieno lost her life on her way back to Nakuru after watching the televised Kenya Simbas vs Namibia 2023 Rugby World Cup Africa qualifiers match out Milimani area on Sunday. Indeed, and may her soul rest in eternal peace. Now, the national sevens rugby team head coach Damien McGrath has named the final squad for the Commonwealth Games slated for 28th of July 2022 in Birmingham. Vincent Onyala, William Baker, Kevin Wakesa, Daniel Tabu and Levi Amunga are the latest inclusion in McGrath final squad to Birmingham. Kenya will face Australia, Jamaica and neighbours Uganda in Pool D. McGrath insisting the goal is to qualify for the knockout stages. Right, and still on matters rugby, fresh from winning the Prince Louis Sevens in Nakuru, Menengai Oilers have been pitted against Masinde Muliro, Nondescript and Vihiga Granites in Pool A ahead of the National Sevens Circuit final leg of the Kakamega Sevens today. Strathmore Leos top Pool B and will face Catholic Monks and Kisumu. Mwamba have withdrawn from that particular this leg following the demise of the team manager Stephanie Rose Otieno. Homeboys RFC are in a tricky Pool C where they will face Kenya Harlequin host Western Bulls, and Nakuru, while reigning champions KCB, will lock horns with Cabras Sugar, Impala and Dazed Falcons in Pool D. So far, there have been 5 different champions, with the Bunkers winning the Kabeberi and Strathmore bagging the Christie Sevens. Momba beat Oilers to win Driftwood Sevens in Mombasa, while Homeboys bagged the Dallas Sevens crowns. Now, also to basically sad news for us as Kenya. It's a big loss to Nairobi, Kenya, after losing the bid for the 2025 World Athletics Championships to Tokyo in Japan. The World Athletics Council, which was sitting, in Oregon, United States, yesterday evening handed Tokyo, that hosted the delayed 2020 Olympic Games last year, the rights to host the 2025 World Athletics Championships. The Council also handed the 2024 World Cross Country Championship to Pula and Medellin in Croatia, with Florida, United States getting to play host the 2026 World Cross Country Championships. Now, that particular brief highlights marks the end of our first bit of this particular show. Remember what I promised you: an interesting conversation about matters super bike riders, and I'll be having one interesting lady right here with us, Mina Reeve, to talk about all that. Remember, social media handles at KUTV Kenya, that is on Facebook, KUTV_Kenya on Twitter, using the hashtag #OnTheSpot. If you have any particular questions for her, send them in. Stay with us.
Driving and riding without incidences on the road is such an amazing experience. But do you know, while many road traffic crashes are avoidable, human behavior continues to be the leading cause. Speeding, lane indiscipline, drunk driving, distracted driving, failure to wear a helmet, and failure to use available pedestrian ways have been flagged by NTSA as the fatal 6 behaviors likely to lead to a fatal crash and serious injuries. As part of the Usalama Barabarani campaign, we request all road users to prevent these fatal 6 behaviors for their own safety and that of others. When driving, ensure your speed is within the stipulated limits. The road ahead is clear before overtaking. Stick to your lane. Keep left unless carefully overtaking. You're well rested if driving on long distances, and you never drink and drive. Usalama Barabarani starts with you. Fika Salama. This message is brought to you by the National Transport and Safety Authority and the European Union.
Today at Ubuntu Water Hub Africa to bring you smart water ATMs.
It took us 5 months to build the first 2 prototypes we had for the mini water ATMs, and that process ended in 2022 January. We've managed to do 70% of what we're using to outsource locally.
Typically, a customer, if he has a tag, will come over to the water hub, tap his or her tag, then key in the amount of water that he or she will want to dispense, and then water will automatically dispense from the water hub.
Karibu sana mpenzi mtazamaji kwenye mitindo ya kipwani. Kipindi ambacho kinahusu utamaduni wa kipwani. Hapa niko pwani. Hapa niko Watamu. Nitakuwa nakupa mambo matamu leo kwenye mitindo ya kipwani, kipindi ambacho kinahusu mambo yetu ya Uswahilini. Ndio maana nikazuru mkoa wa Pwani, niko kaunti ya Kilifi, kijiji kinachofahamika kama Magofu. Haya yote ni kwa udhamini wa Safina Beach Hotel ambao wamenileta hapa nikaweze kutangamana na wakazi. Ilioje mpenzi mtazamaji, tutakuwa tunapata mambo mengi sana kama vile dance. Kwa hivyo naomba tu kaweze kunipa jicho lako. Mambo yatakuwa ni babu kubwa kabisa.
Ziko dance ambazo tunacheza wakati wa harusi. Kuna wakati wa matanga. Kuna wakati wa mavuno.
Neno lako Bwana ni mwanga wa njia yangu. you will find that the post-election violence was so bad, at its intensity, it was so bad that we had to bring in international bodies and persons to help us.
What led to the disputes that we had in the 2007 elections?
The 2007 elections, majorly it was due to the lack of trust in the system.
Bila shaka, mbiu ya mgambo ikilia, kuna jambo. Na sasa, katika KUTV Rise Today, makala ya TBT. Tunaongeza kuni, tunawasha moto. Tunaingia barabarani kuangalia hali ilivyo. Takwimu za corona na kupa habari zinazojiri na zinazokuhusu na kujuza na kukumbusha yaliyotendeka siku kama hii ndani ya historia. Kisha na kuletea wageni na wataalam, tudadavui, tufahamu na tuchukue nafasi yetu kama vijana katika uongozi, uchumi na masuala ya kisiasa nchini. Na joto likizidi, tunaingia uwanjani, tunachambua spoti ya Kenya. Ni kila Alhamisi saa 1 hadi saa 4 asubuhi, nami Vincent Maina almaarufu Ojwang mtoto wa Mariam, ndani ya KUTV, a new experience.
Hello everyone, this is the new chapter of Let's Be Fit. I'll be host DiCaplo. I'm here to give you various workouts. I'll be having different trainers. We'll have Zumba classes, we'll have aerobics classes, we'll have box exercise, we'll have kata box. The show comes every Thursday from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Keep it locked, make sure we keep fit, and that's it from me to you. Let's be fit.
Around 24 minutes past 2 p.m. Thank you for staying with us. Now, that particular interview that I promised you will be having later on. Right now, though, let's focus on matters basketball. The under 23, the 3-on-3 Nationals League. Now, Ivan Soma had an opportunity to talk to the coach, Tommy Ochieng, on basically about what that particular team is going through and everything, how the debut on that particular Nationals League is. Listen in.
My name is Tony Ochieng, the head coach for 3x3 Kenya team.
Basket
that
for
is
Uganda.
taking part for the Nations League's tournament here in Nairobi. So far, so good, but the results we had expected are not forthcoming. Ladies, we've lost 2 finals against Uganda, and for men, we've managed to finish second runners-up position. That is now position 3. Yes.
Right now, owing to the result, does it, worry or call for concern right now as you prepare for your next match?
For me, we have 6 stops. Today is the 3rd stop, and our plan is that we have to make amendments so that at least today we get 2 wins, either 2 wins for men and women, so that we can catch up with Uganda or Rwanda.
Or playing at home, does it give Kenya a home advantage?
Yes, it gives Kenya a home advantage. Remember that we've had several challenges, but all in all, we are prepared. And hosting a tournament comes with a lot of pressure. So at the moment, we are working on mental toughness so that at least we are able to win some stops. Yes.
Now, talking about pressure, I know expectations are high, and many people are really, rooting for you guys to at least, make magic happen. Now, tell me about this is the first team you're meeting this kind of team for the first time. What kind of impact does it have on the team, of course?
It's work in progress. Remember, the COVID pandemic hit us very hard, and it has affected our preparation. Yes.
So probably how many times have you, prepared, rather trained for this upcoming tournament?
Yes, we've had a 2-week extensive training, and remember our mixer is we have 4 players. That is 2 men and 2 women who are also taking part in the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. So it's a good exposure for us. Remember, once they are from here, the real game situation, the exposure now will be added advantage once we are in the camp for the Commonwealth.
Now probably this is the question that I should have started with. Coming to this Nation League, probably some of the expectations that you had set for the team, of course.
We need to improve on our ranking. Once we have a good ranking, in Africa we are number 2 in 3x3 in terms of ranking. Worldwide we are number 41. So I think for us it's a good development. We've been trying hard to see the 3x3 development. And for this game, I think it's a learning curve and a learning point for us. Yeah.
As we wind up, we will forget about the last 2 results. Now you have a moment, or rather chance for redemption. Do you think the team has what it takes to be at the top?
Definitely. Definitely.
Time to go, 3 minutes, 36 seconds.
The team is
TV
blended
break.
with experience. And remember, this is under 23. This is the right age for development. And we're up to the task. Remember, some of the teams have been coming in Europe for almost a month before they came here. So we are ready for the task. Getting position 3 here, it's also a good result for us. But we need to improve on it. And that's now what we are working for it today. Yeah.
So you have mentioned about some teams camping in Europe, and I believe Europe has better facilities than ours here in Kenya. Does it give them sort of an advantage over us Kenyans?
It's self-belief, mental toughness, and that, Kenyans, we are hard workers. So I believe today the tide will be good for us.
2 shots for Botswana.
Yeah.
Right. Probably your final word. What are you promising Kenya, of course, in your next match?
Our plan is to beat Rwanda. That is for men. Then we can think about finals. For ladies, we need to beat Benin. Benin is a good team. They have tall players, skilled players. They have a complete team. So our focus now again is first deal with Benin first. We'll think of Rwanda first. We'll think of Uganda in the finals later.
Coach, thank you so much for making time to speak to KUTV. Okay.
Right, thank you for that, Auma Evans, and definitely after this I told you we'll be having that particular interview with the fastest woman superbike rider. Her name is Mina Reeve, but then, just to have a brief review on that particular interview that Evans Auma had on that particular, matters. The whole 3-on-3 Nationals League, remember we had the captain of the ladies team right here, Barbara Atieno, to talk about all that in their preparations, and it really seems that they're doing quite well. So this is going to be a whole future for Matters basketball. But then now the whole financial issues, again, it's going to be a problem. Remember also, Omanyala traveled on Thursday night. He participated today morning, around I think 3 a.m. or around there. So then he finished 3rd. He's going to be participating in the semis, clocked 10.10 seconds. Another whole discussion we'll be having with Auma Evans, again in the whole sports review, how does this really matter? He he had a few hours here and there to actually participate and actually win that, rather not win, but then be third on that. So he was saying that he looked prepared and all that. Also, we'll be giving you a whole interview, rather a brief interview on what Omanyala was saying about before he actually went on, before he actually traveled. According to me, I was listening to that particular interview, and Omanyala was saying, you guys don't really, positivity all the way. Positivity all the way. So, positivity all the way. I feel like, Director, if you can have that particular, 1 minute interview, Omanyala's interview before we actually get into matters superbike riding.
Very important in my career, and I'm not going there selecting any championship. It's a do or die thing for me at the World Champs, you get. So it's a big event, and the only thing that was hindering me from traveling is the visa, but now I have the visa. So no, I'm not selecting any championship. All championships are important, so going for the medals in both. Positivity all the way, man. Positivity all the way, and we're going in for these games. And the moment, I'm telling you guys, the moment I get there, that's everything. I'm telling you, everything will be forgotten. My body has to run. It doesn't matter how tired it is. It will have to run, and it will have to take this up, because now it's a challenge being put on the table. You can't run away from it. You have to tackle it head on. So it's an encouragement to everybody out here, all the sportsmen, generally people in life. You have to, challenges are there in life, but you have to face them head on. And I always believe that challenges are there to make us stronger, and I believe there's something good coming out of this. So, yep, we're ready, and I'm excited about this, and thankful to everybody who has supported me in this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah, the visa is here. So, thanks to the US Embassy, by the way. It's a great thing, and leave alone. Don't let people talking on social media affect. Personally, I'm thankful for the embassy for giving me the visa, and I'm not having any doubts that they did it with one heart. Yeah, so the visa is there.
Right, definitely, that is Omanyala, and people were, literally roaring up on matters, social media and Twitter. They're saying, government, in case Omanyala, loses this particular race, it's on you. And, some particular officials are on hot soup about that particular matter. But then, talking about who's the fastest and all, on studio we have the fastest superbike rider, woman superbike rider in East Africa. She'll be telling us about that, but then, it's courtesy to let you introduce yourself. You can, look at that particular, camera and introduce yourself. Let your audience basically know who you are.
Hi, my name is Mina Riev. I was given a title of the Best Lady Superbiker in the 2019 race season, where I finished 3rd overall in the national competition. FIM Africa also awarded me in the Big Dream book, where I was among the top 65 lady bikers in the world, and that was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
How, when did you start all this? Do you ever, since you're a kid, when you talk about, when you meet musicians, they're always like, so I've always wanted to sing when I was in my mom's womb and all that. Did you ever want to, do the whole superbike riding?
No, it's been a very recent thing, pre-COVID.
Oh.
So 2018 is when I got my first bike. I learned in 4 months. I had an amazing coach and mentor. And then 4 months later, I entered my first competition.
Right.
Yeah.
How was the whole training in at first,
Oh, training was exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. I thought I'd fall down a lot, but I didn't fall down at all.
Not even once?
Not even once.
For the 4 months?
Yes.
Wow.
But I would put that down to the coach that I had. He was absolutely fantastic. He's actually one of the best role models there is in the industry. His name's Shaiman Mughal.
Ah.
Yeah.
So now after the 4 months, did you start professionally?
After the 4 months, I started my first competition to try it out, but I stuck the whole season through. And because it's a championship, you get points for every race that you do. So you have to accumulate the points to see if you can at least finish in the podium, the first 3, which I managed to do successfully.
Right.
Yeah, bearing in mind that it's not just a women-only sport, it's also men involved, and it's very male-dominated.
Right. Do you personally have a role model? You know, either in Kenya, either, you know, continentally, either the whole world, a super biker who, you know, you look up to?
I don't have a particular one per se, because each super biker has their own qualities. Of course, the likes of Valentino Rossi, Marquez, are undoubtedly household names, but more locally, there's, you know, like I said, there's Shaiman Mughal, that's Gogo. Other people that I do look up to are people like Farouk Bassam, who actually is in charge of Alpha Racing Team. And, you know, local talent is there. Someone like Evans Acid Boy, I really look up to him. He is a legend on the bike.
Right. And no, because you mentioned about, you know, each and every superbiker has their own qualities. For you personally, what are your qualities as Mina?
Oh, wow. I think we'd have to ask other people the answer to that question. But some of what I think are my key strengths is that I'm very hard-headed and stubborn, which is a strength in the sense that I go for what I want. I'm fearless when I'm on the track, when I'm in competition, and I don't hold back. I just keep on going and going and going until it's done, and then I wonder how I even did certain things.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, before we dive into matters, the whole, you know, motorsport and superbiking, do you play any other sport apart from, before now you dive into it in 2019? Did you participate in any other?
Well, I've participated in a lot of sports. Growing up, I've just been a sporty, competitive person. I did play hockey for the Sliders team when I was 16 years old. Wow. And I thought that was incredible. Right now, I play a lot of football, recreationally, not professionally. And I really enjoy the balance that sports brings into life.
So basically, you're a football fan?
I am.
EPL, which is your favorite team?
I would have to say Man City.
I was hoping you'd say Manchester United, but anyway.
Unfortunately.
Now let's talk about, I mean, you're the fastest. You ranked the fastest as of 2019. How did that, you know, come up to be? What's the fastest speed that you've ever gone?
Okay, now, without getting myself into trouble here, on the track, it's a 1.4 kilometer track at the Whistling Morans in Athi River. So you cannot maximize a bike's full potential on that track because it's what's considered a smaller track. So on the track, I think the most that I've gone on it is close to about 100. That is on the straight. That's on the track. On the roads, it's a different story. However, I will say I try and keep to the speed limits on the roads.
Please do tell us. We're hoping that maybe Ken isn't really, you know.
Safety first, safety always.
A range. Probably, if you can give us a range.
All right. So the fastest, if I'm thinking in terms of kilometers per hour, I would say about 270. Whoa. Having said that, I do remember there was an incident when I was in the UK and I was on a closed circuit track. So going at those speeds was acceptable. Yes.
Wow. Do you feel like Kenya, we should, you know, have like particular roads? I mean, for example, like the whole, how they created and how they built the expressway. We have, you know, roads that you as a superbiker, you can actually now, you know, go such kind of kilometers per hour, such kind of a speed?
I think that there are really nice roads in Kenya where you can reach such speeds. However, it has to be taken with caution because it's still an open public road. So going to such speeds would be highly undisciplined because we have to think about safety first always. While having roads specifically for bikers would be great, because I'm thinking of the very many border riders that we have. It would help ease congestion and just be safer for everybody.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that we should now start going at all sorts of speeds just because we can.
Just because you can. True, true. Now let's go back to, you know, your being ranked the fastest. How did it come to be? Which particular, you know, maybe speed did you go, and how did it feel, by the way, to actually be ranked the fastest in East Africa?
It felt really good when it was time for the MSFK award ceremony, who are affiliated with FIM Africa. So being ranked the best superbiker in the country nationally was a huge achievement for me, because there's at the time there were other lady racers as well who had more experience than I did, and I was the newbie, rookie, novice who's just come into the sports scene. So that felt really good. Of course, I had to work really hard for it. As I mentioned, it's not a women-only sport. So in terms of my lap times, they're not comparable to maybe some of the other men who have been doing this for a lot longer. But in terms of comparing my times to other women, I am at the top.
Wow. What are you doing to actually, you know, maintain? Because they say you can never really, you know, being at the top is you know, it's easy, but then maintaining, actually being at the top now, that's where the whole hard work comes in. What are you doing to actually defend your title?
Oh, okay. So that's actually, like you said, the hardest part. I have to constantly train. It's hard to train when you don't have access to a bike constantly. Most of the bikes that I use are usually at the track at Whistling Morans, because they are purely track bikes. And I thank some of the sponsors who enable that to happen, like Sleek Trading. Amazing opportunities. Training in the gym, fitness, CrossFit, when I play football, all of this is helping my cardiovascular endurance, because when you are on the track, it's about cardio. You have to maintain about 20 to 25 laps of the track in one race, which takes about 20 to 25 minutes. Right. And that's in addition to having to wear a very hot and heavy leather suit, the gloves and all that, so you get really dehydrated, so you have to get used to those sorts of stressful conditions. And the bikes are heavy machines.
Right.
So you have to be able to pick up the bike once you lean around a corner, as an example.
Right. What are the most memorable moments when you know you're on that particular bike? Because I mean, for us, when we even see, you know, superbikers on the road, you know, the whole helmet, and we'll definitely, you know, get to, you know, your helmets. I was doing a few of you, you know, you're looking at your helmet, and you know, seeing you know, the two braids on it. You'll definitely be telling us about that. But then, what are your most memorable moments on the bike?
Well, I have to say the memories are usually the close fatalities, whereby you fall. And in the biker community, we call it buying a plot of land.
Buying a plot of land?
Yes.
Wow. Why
it's like you've got a shamba, because you fell there, you had an accident in that particular area at that corner, so now you own it.
Oh, interesting.
So I have had my fair share of falls on the track. Thankfully, I haven't had any accidents on the road. I take safety very seriously.
Right.
And it's not always in your control. But when you're on the track and going at certain speeds, like I'd go around a corner at 70 kilometers an hour, which is quite fast. There's this one time where my brakes failed. They became spongy. I couldn't slow down. I couldn't stop. So I either had to go onto the grass or I had to tilt. And I tilted. I belly flopped twice onto the tarmac. That speed is no joke. But I would say the gear really helped. I was still bleeding through the helmet.
Oh, sorry.
So my chin and my lip were bust. My gloves, my skin came off a little bit. My bones were sticking out. But it's part of the sport.
All right.
Yeah, you get up and you keep going.
Right, now let's talk about that particular helmet. I was definitely look at some of your helmets, and you're even telling me, you know, it's common for female riders to have like probably a braid or two on the helmet. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it looks good. I won't lie. I like to look good when I'm on a bike. That includes when I'm racing as well. It also symbolizes, like, yes, I'm a woman, you know, and when that happens, it sort of helps you on the roads, because a lot of these men, you know, they're aggressive and they don't really want to respect a lot of private bikers.
Yeah.
So I realized when they realize that it's a lady, they tend to give you way. They tend to let you pass, so it makes maneuvering through traffic a lot easier. I personally just like the look. I'm a big superhero fan, so instead of...
I'm actually looking at that particular... talk us through that particular helmet. And how many helmets do you have by the at home?
I have 5 helmets at the moment. I want to get more. Each one has a unique story and quality towards it.
What's the story behind this particular helmet?
So this particular helmet here, it's a Marvel helmet, HJC, and it's from the movie Venom, but it's the sister character to Venom, it's Carnage. I just thought it was a bit more feminine, and one of my friends was able to import it for me.
Wow.
One of the many that I have. There's a tiger helmet that I've got. I got that one from Thailand.
My director right now is curious, where did you import it and how much does that particular, because he's interested in matters Marvel.
Oh, okay. So there's different places. South Africa, whenever I travel around the world, I usually make sure I get a helmet from that country, like the one I got from Thailand. My friend actually recently traveled to Spain and got a helmet that I'm so envious of. It's the Joker character. You know, let me see your toys. I just love that. And then also playing Kenyan poker, and you always put the Joker. You know, it just personifies me. So I'm looking to get a few more of these.
How much is this, maybe?
This one was about 60K.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's excluding import fees.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, so riding is an expensive sport, especially if you're going to be serious with the protective gear and the protective elements of it all. My leather suit cost about 100 to 120K. The gloves are separate, the boots are separate, obviously the helmet is separate. So it is quite expensive.
Director is quite, I mean, why am I not shocked? I'm actually shocked inside. How much do I need to actually buy, or rather get into motorsport and matters super biking? How much do I need generally, roughly?
I would say budget for about 2M.
2 million?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
2 million. We need to start saving now.
Yes, you do. But you get things slowly.
Right.
You know, like for me, I got all of my gear first, and basic gear. And then I got the bike. I saved up, then I was able to upgrade my racing boots. And slowly, as you save more money, if you're passionate about it, like I am, this is a hobby for me, by the way, a fun one, a dangerous one, an exciting one, and one that I would spend money on.
Which is your best bike right now, your preferred bike?
I prefer the 600cc bikes, but I wouldn't race with a 600cc bike. So for racing, I prefer smaller cc's, so maybe 250, 320, possibly 400 maximum.
Why wouldn't you prefer, why do you prefer that one and you wouldn't race with it?
So because our tracks here are small, I don't have fun when I'm racing the bigger bikes. Other people do, but for me personally, with my strength, my build, I don't have as much enjoyment racing the bigger bikes.
Right.
But on an open road with the bigger bike, I can really push the bigger bikes to a certain level.
A certain level, which we, I mean, obviously,
which we shall not discuss.
Yeah, off air, you'll definitely tell me.
Of course. But that's where the excitement for me comes in. So if I could have an array of maybe 2 or 3 bikes, I would.
Your dream bike?
My dream bike at the moment is the Yamaha R6.
How much is it?
Well, I'm yet to be told how much it will retail for. I do know that Yamaha are going to be bringing it in soon. But normally, brand new bikes go between 2 million and 4 million.
2 million, 4 million.
And used bikes can go between 600K and maybe 2 million. depends how used it is, year of manufacture, so on and so forth.
But then basically they say cheap is expensive, so
yes.
You look at it. Now, when we look at you guys doing your thing there, where basically with our eyes we're like optically you're just sitting on the bike and doing the whole and just going. Are there any physical fitnesses before you actually sit on that particular bike?
So I've got something that I do that other people don't tend to do, and that's music. Music for me is my drug.
I was actually going to ask you that particular question, but then yeah.
Yeah, so before competition, I usually have to listen to music to calm down my nerves and to just relax and meditate. Otherwise, I'm a mess. Usually before I get onto any bike, I try and jam, in my mind, and everyone thinks I look hilarious.
I'm curious to know which genre of music.
Well, things like Burna Boy, so Afro beats. I like the also city mixes as well.
Can you musically?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. But something that I can bump and grind to, but in my mind. But then I think I'm doing it in my mind. I'm actually dancing, and everybody's looking at me dancing and think that I've gone crazy. But it helps me a lot. When I see other people, before they get onto a bike, they do squats, I guess it's the male testosterone that leads them to do things like that. But because I'm a female, I don't feel the urge or the need to do things like that.
Right.
So for me, music is my go-to.
Do I have to maybe go to the gym or maybe do some particular workouts so that I can be good in riding?
You do need to have the fitness, definitely. As I said earlier, the bikes are heavy, and it can be hard to lift them back up once you've taken a corner and you've leaned to a certain extent. And then also, it's a lot of fitness, cardiovascular. You've got to be fit. Otherwise, you won't be able to be on the bike for a long stretch of time.
Right. Now, so somewhere that you were riding for Parkinson's awareness. Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Where does I also forgot to mention you're a biology teacher. We'll definitely get to discuss that. But then tell us about you starting to ride for Parkinson's awareness.
So Parkinson's disease is something that is close to my family. Okay. Not just my immediate family, but extended family as well, both here in Kenya and in the UK. So it's something that's close to my heart and something that not a lot of people know about. So a lot of people, they do awareness campaigns for breast cancer, for other types of cancers. And I'm not discrediting them at all, but there hasn't been much on Parkinson's awareness. So I teamed up with Africa Parkinson's Disease Foundation, and there's also the Nairobi Parkinson Support Group that have a lot of patients, I should say, of this disease that come together, and it's a really good community. So as much as possible, I try and do the hashtag Move for Parkinson's, and it's movement in any sort of way. So because I ride, I go ride for Parkinson's. Whenever I'm moving, let's say I'm doing my fitness, I say Move for Parkinson's. There's a trend that I had started, it went viral, it was so cool. I had all of the major sports personalities involved, and they all hashtagged Move for Parkinson's. And for me, spreading that awareness was important. It's always the first step. It's now engaging other corporates to come in, because medications are so expensive. People misunderstand or misdiagnose the condition, whereby, let's say you're in the village and one of the elderly starts shaking their hands. Someone might allude to that person being drunk or, high or something, but really it's one of the symptoms of the disease, and they don't know that. So it's about creating that awareness first, so that you don't judge the elderly who have the condition so harshly. Because those are people too, It could be our parents, our grandparents, uncles, aunts, and they have lived an amazing life. They've done amazing things, and we all just forget, because now they've got a condition that people don't want to see past. And that's why I try as much as possible to ride for Parkinson's, to move for Parkinson's.
Right, some great stuff you're doing there. Now, are you in maybe a club or, basically like a club of other riders?
I have been. So I had co-founded GoGo Racing Team with Shaiman Mughal, who I mentioned earlier, who was my coach and mentor. And then I diversified to other teams. Right now, one that I would strongly advocate for is Alpha Racing Team, which is led by Bassam Farouk and Bike Scene Africa. If you're not part of those two, I don't know what you're part of, because they are the top two, in my opinion, who should be watched and monitored.
Right.
Yes.
Tomorrow there's some heavy action happening in the Whistling Runs.
There is.
Please do tell us about that.
Actually, that's where I just came from before coming here.
Okay.
So I left one of the bikes at the track. Everybody is at Whistling Runs trying to do a track day, a bit of training, trying to get ahead of the competition, ahead of tomorrow. Tomorrow there's what's called a Bike Fest. It's being sponsored by Sleek Trading. And Bike Fest is in collaboration with other partners such as Bike Scene Africa. And it's a different sort of competition to what we're used to. So this is going to be about time trials. Your fastest lap on track, they're going to put you on a leadership board. And I believe it's the top 3 for each category who would be awarded for the day. And if not the top 3, definitely the top 1. And then this leadership board will stay for the indefinite future, so that if you do clock a faster lap time at any of the other events, you're automatically shifted in the rankings.
Right.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm excited.
All right. Why? I mean, personally, and obviously for those who are watching, there might be bike enthusiasts. They've maybe never been on a bike, like I have never been on a bike. Why we should come to Whistling Runs tomorrow?
It's going to be exciting. Just hearing these bikes, their engines, just, I mean, I'm sorry to say, to be crude, but it's such a turn on, you know? And it's just so exciting, just even hearing them. If you're in a car and you see a super bike pass by with that noise, you're like, oh, I personally get goosebumps.
All right.
So there's going to be lots of those kind of bikes there. The second thing is there's going to be a lot of high-speed action. A lot of the bigger bikes and the show-offs, so to speak, like to pop a wheelie, which is when they go on the back tire and the front tire is up. Others do it the opposite way. Others literally lie on the floor as they go around a corner, and you're wondering, how do you defy science by doing that? Others actually dance on the back wheel of a bike. You know, they go like one step at a time. It's so interesting. Also, you get to see the best of the best who are going to be there. Some of Kenya's legends will be there tomorrow at the Whistling Morans in Athi River, anytime from 9 a.m. and entrance is free for spectators.
Right, so basically our viewers can just search Whistling Morans and they'll find the location.
Exactly.
Right. Let's talk about women in motorsport, and you know, being one of them, fast growing into this particular industry. And you know, how do you balance this particular sport? You're also a biology teacher. You do own a number of companies out here. How do you balance that? And this actually reminds me, I think it was early this year or maybe late last year, when you didn't actually have the opportunity to go to South Africa because of Marta's work. How do you balance all this?
Yeah, it's tricky, I won't lie. Sometimes I don't know how I do it. But I take the opportunities as they come. So biking for me, first and foremost, is a hobby. It's a passion. It doesn't generate me much income. I'm still always looking for more sponsorship to come my way so that I can advance my skill set.
I'm pretty sure they're listening right now.
But the good thing about bikers and about me is there's a lot of transferable skills. So my fearlessness on 2 wheels transferred to 4 wheels, I will be a force to reckon with, you know. But of course, getting into the 4-wheel motorsport scene is also costly.
Right.
So we'll explore those options later on. In terms of...
So basically you'd opt to, I mean, maybe in the future, maybe ever join the 4-wheel and, you know, the whole safari rally?
Possibly. Who knows what the future holds. But it's not something that I'm going to cross off my list,
All right.
Definitely. I've been told I'm pretty badass in a go-kart already.
Actually, remember the inaugural Leones rally that happened in Kasarani?
Oh yes, I was there.
I definitely saw somebody like you there.
Yes, I actually had a Yamaha R1M bike, 1000cc on that one.
Right.
Again, courtesy of Sleek Trading. They hooked me up with that one, and that was fantastic. In terms of balancing, though, everything, I would say that because biking is a hobby and a passion, as much as I'd want to say it is my primary focus, it isn't. I still have a job, I still have a career. Like you said, I'm a biology teacher, but I'm not just a biology teacher. Sciences generally fascinate me and intrigue me, so much so in education that I decided to pursue a master's degree in educational leadership. Because
Do you enjoy teaching?
I love teaching. I really enjoy it. So much that it's now my primary focus and what I would like to concentrate on. The education scene for me is just where it's at.
Right. Now, the future of women in motorsport, where right now, you know, because we do really have to look at the past, the present, and also the future. When you look at obviously the past and right now where we are as a country, will you say we are in the right place in much as women in motorsport?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We are definitely making steps towards it. I feel like when 2 steps are taken forwards, 1 step goes back, and then 2 forwards, 1 back. So it sort of limits the progress being made in terms of the timescales. I really like what happened at the Machakos People's Park over last weekend. The RX lights.
Yeah.
And that was the launch and inaugural event showcased. Yeah. And I thought they did such a great job because every team had to have 1 lady rider. Yeah. And I look back at that moment and I think, well, it's current, it's recent, and that is where we should be heading. Every organization should be looking towards incorporating more women in motorsports because we are there. There's a lot of us. We just need to be given the opportunities to do so and not be too, let me say, petty, not to allow others in, especially in the interest of growing the sport.
You had mentioned we are taking 2 steps forward, 1 step backward. Let's talk about that 1 step backwards. What are those challenges? What comes into this 1 step backwards that we're taking?
So personally, for me, one of the biggest challenges is money.
All right.
And I think that's any sport. Funding, money, and the other challenge is time. Finding the time to train properly. Finding the people to train you can also be a challenge. And then having people support you, and not just in kind, not just with words. That's all well and good, but when push comes to shove, it's money that's needed, you know, and investment opportunities. If I think about corporate companies, they could benefit from getting some real class, authentic marketing and PR. And PR is something I know quite a lot about.
The future, your own, you know, personally, your target for either matches superbike riding, or if maybe 3 years later we'll be talking about Mina Raven Safari Rally, maybe somewhere else. But then your target in matches motorsport, or generally.
I have been told I'm quite ambitious with my dreams and my aspirations. But I'm at a point where I want to see more women in motorsport. So my target personally for the future is to try and grow more women into the sport. Even if I'm not bringing them in personally, I'd like to think I inspire 1 or 2 people to want to, you know, even just test the waters. You know, just ask as many questions as you can. Ask where to get gear, how to get a bike. Ask where the track is. Ask for that sponsorship to just get 1 track day, just to experience how it feels. For me, I want to grow a culture of more women in motorsports. Firstly, I'd be focusing on the superbike scene, and then I know other women who are in the other types of motorsports also inspire in their specific spaces. I'll give you an example, Grace Moiri. She is one to watch out for. Motocross, enduro, she is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. She tried to train me once with those kind of bikes, and then I figured it wasn't really for me. But she's absolutely amazing. Maxine Wahome is another name that is quite known. She is so inspirational when it comes to both the motocross, which she used to do, and then she transitioned into the rallying, and she is absolutely phenomenal.
Right. Before actually, being told our time is up, but then any upcoming maybe competitions now, maybe for the Whistling Runs, the Go-Go group, and maybe now for you personally, any upcoming competitions that you're preparing for?
So there's one tomorrow, the Bike Fest. Make sure everybody comes there. You should also come as well.
True.
And
entrance free, remember?
Entrance is free, definitely. Right. And thereafter, we just need to wait and see. I know there was another recent event at Masinga Dam, and that was really good. So you need to follow on IG handles such as Bike Scene Africa. You need to follow Alpha Racing Team. You need to follow me personally, because I also post every time I see that there's an event. I will publicize it.
I'm pretty sure right now they're wondering what's your handle so that they can actually type it right now.
So my handle is Mina_Reeve.
That simple.
That simple.
Right, Mina_Reeve. You can definitely go check it out. She definitely says she's a football fan. You'll see all that there. Any last thoughts as we conclude? You can look at that particular camera. Your advice to other women, who maybe back in 2019, when you're starting out. Right now, they're in that particular position, and they're also starting out. So, your final words to them.
Yeah, if you really want to get into the sport, just make sure that you are committed, you're passionate, you make the right connections, you ask as many questions as possible. If you ever meet a biker, they will never not answer your questions. So keep going at it, just commit.
Right.
Yes.
Just commit.
Commit.
Right, definitely. Hopefully we'll be meeting tomorrow at the Whistling Runs in Athi River. Make sure you turn up for that. In Athi River, if you don't really know where it is, you have Google. Search Google Whistling Runs, tag the location, look for it, pin the location, and let's meet there tomorrow. I have to ask you one last question. It's a football question. Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi? Who's the GOAT?
Cristiano Ronaldo, definitely. Yes. And I can hear them shouting in there as well, definitely.
Thank you very much, and thank you for making time for having this particular interview, Mina Reeve. And tomorrow, I hope to see you there. I hope to see you, actually going to that particular limit that you won't mention here. And also thank you our audience for actually sticking around for this particular interview. If you missed any of this bit of this interview, you can check it out on our Facebook pages at KUTV Kenya and also on YouTube at KUTV Kenya Live. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we are diving into the sports review. Gigi will be joining us via Zoom. Ivan Soma will be right here with us, and definitely stick around for that. Social media handles at KUTV Kenya, that is on Facebook, KUTV_Kenya on Twitter. Stay with us.
That is welcome back in the Mandarin Chinese language. Now on this episode, it's a special edition where we are getting to understand more about the Mandarin Chinese language.
He taught me the beginner stage, which was about 3 months. After that, I quit, but you see, Discovery is still running at that time. When you're beginning, there are so many things you don't know. That time you're not marketing, you don't know what to keep aside, what you need.
Lula. Is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle,